So we have our first $1 million women's soccer player, but what does it actually mean? Naomi Girma's transfer to Chelsea is significant for women's soccer because it's the first time a player has been valued at more than $1 million. She smashed that 7-figure mark. So Chelsea are banking on this transfer being a huge success and bringing them potentially a Champions League victory, which in turn will bring in more revenue. So this is a bit of a gamble. This is splashing the cash and going big and seeing if it pays off. Such a huge transfer fee automatically makes you think, oh gosh, she's going to be earning millions and millions of dollars. And although it doesn't translate to that exactly, this is clearly a good deal for the athlete as well, in terms of being able to be guaranteed a long-term contract. It's interesting because in the women's game, contracts have typically been quite short, and that is because that gives the player agency to be able to move as a free transfer at the end of that deal. Actually now, if you're signing a longer contract, that must mean it's good news for you in terms of guaranteed income over that longer period. So maybe this is about female athletes backing themselves to say, I'm worth this and I'm actually worth this for 4 years rather than just 1 or 2. I think when you look at where the WSL started and where it is now, that getting past that $1 million barrier has actually happened pretty quickly. And if you look particularly at how that fee has gone up in the last year or so, it's quite extraordinary. It really feels like European teams are going for it. The NWSL has a collective bargaining agreement, which is something that all the teams sign up for, which means there are certain rules in terms of what they can spend and the amounts they can pay their players and free transfers and things like that. There aren't those same restrictions in the WSL. It feels like the NWSL has been a brilliant place for female athletes, female soccer stars to establish themselves. And now perhaps the shift is that they're coming across the Atlantic and then can develop that personal brand and that global stardom in the WSL with the advantage of being able to play in the Champions League, for example. There's an argument with what Chelsea are doing at the moment and how well they're doing in the WSL that we're in danger of creating a bit of a 2-tier system here. So that's going to be very closely monitored. I expect other clubs will start to push for more financial fair play to even that playing field out, and perhaps it's only a matter of time before we see PSR in women's soccer too. I think now we've seen the first $1 million transfer. We could see this figure double perhaps in the next year. You've got to remember Naomi Girma is a defender. She's relatively young. So how much are we going to get for a centre forward? How much for a playmaker? Somebody like Bon Mati, very happy at Barcelona. What would she go for if she was in the transfer market? The sky's the limit.